Hello. I hope this is working. It should be working. What's up? No pre-roll tonight. Um, yeah, I've come to the conclusion today, after about a year's worth of hard research and trying to stay in the middle of the fence and be unbiased. I've come to the conclusion that Windows is the most garbage operating system on the planet, and Mac OS is just better. And uh, I know this will make James Webster smile, but I really tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. But it just constantly fails me at the most simple tasks, and this is gonna be it for the rant. But like when I can't even get to like my C drive, like when I open Windows Explorer and there's nothing there, that's indicative of a problem. Um, oh gosh, sorry for that, but I had to just go off for a second because I had my stream all ready to go, and I literally needed to add like one or two more elements, um, and there was just oh, okay. So I do have Firefox open. Okay. Um, there were like two more elements I needed to add, and the darn thing just wouldn't let me, and I had to restart. And then, of course, when I restart, my fancy Razer keyboard had to push an update, and it's like, don't do anything. Don't touch your keys. This could take several minutes. And it's like, what have we come to here? What is this? Okay, well, welcome. Who do we got here? We got Zodicus. We got Chillwave Kittens, the one and only, the legendary. We got Rainy Cakes. We got Mr. Big Fart. Oh, another legend. Desert sand feels warm at night. Wow, look at that. I am honored and amazed that you showed up. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, so Brick Dinosaur Jimmy, I missed you, buddy. I'm glad you showed up. Can everyone hear me? I spent extra time setting up the audio today so we wouldn't have the snafus that we did last time. So I am using my extra mixer today. I've just come to the conclusion that if I don't want anything bad to happen audio-wise, I gotta use that mixer. It's just so much easier to have all of the sources at my fingertips, and I can turn the knobs and stuff. Eugenio Battaglia, welcome. Devin, stop. SO for the people at work sneaking in a stream. Hell yeah. JB's, Lil Liam, Henry Cron, Neil Tendo Power. Welcome everyone. I'm so happy to have y'all. Real quick, let me get my salesman spiel out of the way. Tonight we're going to be listening to the fifth proper DJ Prom Night record, Soapland, and this is a yo, JPEG Stripes. What is up, Jordan? I'm looking blurry, huh? This is can you believe this effect? How did I achieve this effect? There are no video delay plugins in OBS, so any guesses on how I got this cool delay effect? If you guess it, I'll send you a free tape. How about that? Sega Octopus, welcome. So yeah, I got to get my spiel out of the way. There is several more DJ Prom Night records available on Eclipse Picks. And what is Eclipse Picks? That's a great question. At this point, it's basically a gosh darn vaporwave label where I am every artist, and I design every album art, and I design every tape, and I order them, and I ship them all by myself. So this is a kind of a dream come true job for me that I've invented for myself during the pandemic to make money when I couldn't play shows. But you will get all of this amazing music that I've made over the past now year and a half, plus all of my releases for as little as $5 a month. I've got some new merch up on the shop. The people that were subscribed to the physical tier got these a couple weeks ago, but I got the extras up today. So we've got ephemeral gauze, and this one, I hate to even tantalize this because I think this is, it's now sold out, but this is a reissue of my first two, like, ambient, kind of like fake shoegaze ambient guitar dream pop tapes that I made in like 2012. Remastered, repackaged ephemeral gauze. Next we've got the DJ Prom Night Plays the Holiday Party. This is my Christmas Slushwave tape. All sample based, of course. Pretty thick tape, about 62 minutes if I remember correctly. There's a couple bonus tracks. Not on the digital release. We've got my classic style vaporwave release by New Gaia. It's called Love Simulacra. It's kind of a concept album about a dystopian future where corporations ruin planet Earth, and then they basically resell you everything that you once loved that they destroyed. Which, you see how the world is kind of happening now. Doesn't seem so unrealistic anymore, which is unfortunate. And the last one here is Bullet Heaven Pink Fever Eclipse. And this tape I'm especially proud of. I've got the Tate style orientation on the label. The J card is also reversible, so you can just pop that out, flip it around, and pop it back in. And bada bing, bada boom, you've got some different art there. So these are only for sale for my subscribers, and I'd like to keep it that way, but thank you for dropping the link in there, little Liam. Looking at the comments here, Chillwave Kittens asks, Kevin, will we be hearing any new Equip at Pudina Palooza? Yeah, I definitely am going to try to drop at least one new track, depending on how confidently I think I can pull it off. So I'll try to get at least one new track into the set. I haven't even started working on it. I've been so busy with the mixtape stuff. Are you still planning to play Texas? This Delta Bologna has got me worried about future shows. Yeah, I mean, it's still on the calendar for me. I've bought my ticket. I have not booked anything yet, but I mean, as far as I know, the show's still on. I'm definitely gonna mask up and stay safe the whole time. But yeah, as far as I know, there's no cancellations or anything. I got my fingers crossed, but I'm also worried about that too, Brick Dinosaur Jimmy. That's a very real possibility that it might get canceled. So fingers crossed it doesn't. Everyone stay safe. Get vaccinated if you haven't already. I've been double vaxxed for months. I'll suck that booster up with a milkshake straw as soon as they offer it. I have full faith in science, and stay away from that horse paste, y'all. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, the only thing I'm afraid of is their anti-abortion laws. That's such bullshit. Pardon my French, but nobody should be telling women what to do with their bodies. I mean, nobody should be telling anybody what to do with their bodies, but yeah, I'm very much against that bullshit abortion bullshit that's going on right now. Fuck all that. All right, so let's get into the record. Without further ado, DJ Prom Night, Soapland, here we go. Please let me know if there's anything up with the audio. There was an echo the entire time last stream. I'm looking at my audio monitoring devices, and it looks like I had a hidden audio source that was just playing the Winamp source doubled. So hopefully there's no delay this time, but let me know if there's an echo or something weird that sounds like something you shouldn't hear. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to turn off my mic, and here's Soapland by DJ Prom Night. All right, folks, that is it. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the whole thing. That's funny. LOL, didn't realize prom night was a quip. I'm such a vaporwave peasant. It's quite alright. I feel like I haven't really done such a great job of even promoting Equip's picks. It's been, it's been so difficult to juggle everything, like juggling the making the music and making the art and getting the tapes designed and ordered and shipped. And it's just, it's a lot of work. And I am but one person, and I also have to live a life too. For those of you that are curious, this is Ableton Live, and I'm going to open up one of my last projects here, and then we're just going to use the chain that I have, and we're going to focus on like how to make one of those songs. Last time we did a Slushwave chain from scratch. This time I'm going to kind of show you how the bread is buttered. So here's typically what a finished DJ Prom Night song looks like. It's a lot of chops and edits and crossfades under a metric crap ton of effects. I've got several different chains running in parallel here, affecting each of the frequency bands. So I'll break that up in a bit, and we'll get into exactly what that chain is and what it does. But we need a song first, and you know what? I should have picked one ahead of time. We'll find one here. I got a nice little playlist, so yeah, you don't have to live a life. Hey, what's up, Lux? Nice of you to join. Lux and groceries in the same chat. Look at that. That's magic right there. Okay. So yeah, let's dig into my deep sample folder. There was a couple songs that I heard recently that I was just like, man, this is going to be so good. I'm just kind of skipping through some of these songs on my playlist. I think any of these could be like really good. There's the sample for that one. So yeah, here's for context. I don't know if you can even hear that, actually. Probably not, huh? Okay, let me drag this in. Okay, this one's got a nice solo, so we'll keep this one on standby. This one's just fire. Surely someone's done this one. Surely. Okay, so let's listen to the song for a little bit. Hopefully we won't get in trouble. Oh, I can't even hear that. What the hey? Let me futz with my Ableton preferences here. I think I need to send this to the mixer. Yeah, okay. Audio's really buzzy, okay. Can you hear that? There we go. You can't hear that? Okay. Let me mess with some stuff here. I didn't set up this view very well. swear it doesn't matter how much prep time I get here. It just isn't enough. So let's add an audio. Faintly, huh? Okay, I think what I need to do is send that out to maybe my regular audio interface and then use that. I swear to God, it messes up every time. Okay, see, look at all these output options I have here. Let's do, this should be it. This should be it. Still can't hear that, huh? Ah, dear Lord. Okay, sounds like we hear it through your headphones. That's probably exactly what you're hearing, Lux. You're hearing it through my headphones. So why don't I do this? I will send it out of just my regular ass speakers. DX. I don't know what DX means. Do you? And then we'll add that as a input capture here, maybe. Advanced audio preferences. DMX without the M. I like that. Okay. Send it out your regular ass. Y'all are funny. Yeah, there's just something about the OBS audio capture thing. It doesn't, it's like too, and like, what am I doing here? Audio output capture, right? Ableton. It's already in use. Okay, Ableton 2. Device. Speakers. Okay. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. Let's see what this sounds like. Oh, you can hear that, I'm sure, right? But now I can't. Now I can't hear it. Let me set this to monitor. Monitor and output. Okay, now I can hear it. Sweet. Okay, yeah, this track is a slapperino. Who is this? I think this is Akina Nakamura. Don't sue me if I'm wrong. Let me check. Akina Nakamura. I'm right. Okay. Yeah, this song's a banger. It's very loud now. Okay. I will dial that down just a little bit. Yeah, you know what? I gotta give OBS credit for adding an undo button. That was just the best thing that could ever happen. The Control-Z undo. Okay, so here's the song. It's sick as hell. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I like to do usually to get the tempo right is I listen to it in iTunes first, and then I tap the tempo. Or you know what, we'll turn warp off. It's probably around 72, right? Okay, that'll work. Whatever. So, first things first. Engage warp on your sample. Then you zoom in, and then you find that first note, which is right here. You double click on that first note, which sets a warp marker. You left click that warp marker, and you click set 1.1.1 here. this moves the timeline to the first beat of the song and will make editing so far, geez, I'm getting a tongue twister, so much easier for you. Left click then and go to warp from here straight. And what that does is it engages the currently selected warp algorithm. Right now we're on complex. And that will try to basically find the drum beats and apply the warp to the whole song. So we weren't too far off with the tempo. You see it kind of locked to the grid there. So let's test this out and see how it sounds with the click. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're right on track, folks. This is good. Hell yeah. Okay, yeah, we're right on track with the tempo. So this is kind of a slow song too, to begin with. So here's honestly almost what I did with every song on Soapland. It's detuned 420, just because. So it's transposed 4 semitones and then detuned 20 cents, just because 420, the weed number. So now we're going to lower our BPM to 69. See how that sounds. Oh, it sounds sick as hell. So 69, 420. That's the vaporwave algorithm right there. We'll do it a little slower even. Let's do like 62. Oh yeah, there we go. That's sexy. Okay, now we start chopping. So obviously this first part's golden. We're gonna keep this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you hit Control E, it puts a slice in there. So maybe you've been counting, but DJ Prom Night always does things in 3s. So here we got the intro. Sounds decent. And we're gonna drag this out and let it finish the phrase. It does sound very yellow. So this part, I think this can be looped 3 times as well. So we'll do that. And what I'm doing here is I'm using hotkeys. So I'm finding my slice point and I'm just hitting Control E. And then that divides it. And then I'm selecting it and hitting Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. So this is just, I don't know, this is what I naturally gravitate to for chops. I like to have it loop 3 times and then finish the phrase, and then go into the next loop and then have that go 3 times and then finish the phrase. And not everyone's like this. Like when I listen to like Telepath's stuff, he always does stuff in 4. And you know, it's funny. I tuned into a Desert Sand Feels Warm at Night stream, and he's also a 3 looper. So. Shout out to the 3 loopers out there. So this is enough of the song that I'm just going to drag it into the chain here, and we'll see how it sounds. So here's that same thing into the DJ Prom Night chains. So there you can see kind of what is going on in the chain. That's cool, you guys have that color Synthesasia or whatever. I don't have anything like that, but so you hear that little roughness there? I kind of delved into this on the last stream, but a good way to make your loop sound smoother is to stick a little crossfade in there. So first of all, we're going to make sure that one that we're still lined up. We're pretty close to lined up here. Ableton's not always correct with these little warp markers, but for science, we're just going to bump that right back there and make sure that hit is right on the 5. And then we're going to pull this out a little bit and then go to where we made our edit, which is right on the, I think it's on the 7, so yeah, zoom in there. And that is pretty close, but we're just gonna also drag that out and make sure that is lined up right there. So we're gonna now use this edited one and then copy and paste this instead, just for more exacting standards. This one too, I'm not super worried about because it sounded good to me, but we're gonna pull this out and just, since we moved this, we have to move that too. And since this is warped, it's generally just gonna stay where you told it to stay. It's not gonna move around too much. So we'll bump that there. And since we edited that one, we'll use that one there. So this is a legendary chat here. We have both Lux and Groceries discussing their production techniques. I'm humbled and amazed to be sharing this space with you. Thank you, Vapor Legends. Everything I do is just a rip off of y'all, so here's the secret, alright? Drag the crossfader just a little bit. And that'll just totally ease any sort of a problem with the waveform not lining up at 0. This is the lazy man's way of doing it, but it's makes everything smoother. So it's your choice whether you drag it to the right or to the left. Since this is the first drum hit, we're dragging it to the right because if we drug it to the left, I don't think it would sound as good. So, but it's all kind of personal preference. So this is kind of now that the intro is done. Oops. We want to silence that one. We can kind of pick and choose what we're going to do with the rest of the song. So I like to drag it out all the way and just see where we're at there. Sometimes I'll just cut the vocals entirely if it's like not good. Oh, you know what? That part sounded cool. Let's loop that. I like looping these weird, like the what do you call them, pre-choruses or pre-verses. Those are always fun to loop because I feel like it builds suspense. So we'll just jam that in there 3 times and then pull the song out. So let's see how that sounds. And I got my little crossfade ready. Love it. Yeah, the vocals actually sound pretty nice. So we know these are vocals, but sometimes I just like to do this. I just like to name them. So that, I liked that little, chord change thing that they did in there. So let's check that out. Start here. So this is obviously kind of like a chorus. I ever have trouble with tracks where the voices start right before the beginning of a measure. Yeah, I do have trouble with that sometimes. This is my favorite kind of stuff. When they get into those like 11th and 9th chords and all that stuff I don't know about. So if we wanted to make this a purely instrumental tune, all of the trappings are here, so maybe we'll do that just for, just for education's sake. 2, 3. Boom. So this is where the instrumental starts. So we know this is chorus, so this is where the verse starts. We're gonna chop that. So this is like a bridge. See, this is the kind of song where almost every part sounds good to me, and I might just use the whole song. I feel like that's like weirdly frowned upon. Like, some people that do vaporwave think that you have to throw something out or that you have to add something, but really, I don't know, if the song's really good and every part is really good, why not use the whole thing? You know, just loop the really, really good parts as much as you want to hear them. And, you know, maybe leave the parts that, like, aren't, like, amazing, like, once, you know. Oh god, the solo. Kevin, I will gladly nerd out about music theory with you. I don't know a whole lot about it, to be honest. Like, you know... Oh, we're gonna loop this part for sure. So there's another part, Epcalence was mentioning, where the vocal starts before the phrase. So I'll show you kind of how to do that. Zedra says, I always end up doing whole songs, but loop the beginning and ending heavily. Yeah, that's a great technique. Damn, this song is just full of little instrumental passages. So I think that one started around here. I'm just gonna put the... Starts there, okay. So... Damn, this part's sick. Oh, interesting. They go like a little off the sounds like they go a little off the key there, but it works because it's like the scale is good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am gonna trash these verses. They're good, but we're gonna make something a little bit more transformative here. So I like this end part so much. I'm gonna see what it sounds like if I just straight up slap it right here after we've looped this pre-verse thing. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, but let's check it out. And I'm gonna loop this a couple times. I know I'm gonna want to hear this more than once. A lot of this is just trial and error, you know? Hell yeah, it works. We're gonna loop this right there too. Again. Oops. So, yeah, that worked really well. This is the kind of shit that I love about the Vaporwave. So, we get this, and then we put it in twice. So now we're kind of making a different song with it, which this is, you know, this is kind of the DJ Prom Night philosophy, and I think a lot of Slushwave in general aims to do this, where you take an existing song and you recontextualize the song, and you find other songs that are similar in tone, and you put them all under the same album, and you give them all the same processing so that they sound like one congealed product. You know, it's like taking a whole bunch of different cheeses and making one big lasagna with it. So that's what Vaporwave's all about. That's, to me, what Slushwave is all about, is making songs, bringing psychedelic elements to songs that might not be normally psychedelic. So let's hear what we got here from the beginning. You know, actually, maybe after that cool little part, we'll throw in the bridge and see how that sounds. So let's see what we got here. Thank you, Lil Liam, for dropping that sample in the chat. So while I got this here, let's crack open the chain and see what we got. I'll try to make this bigger for y'all. Can I make this bigger? Wish you could make this a little taller. Okay, well, you can't. So basically, it's going into a multi-band compressor first. What this is doing is it's splitting up the frequencies and compressing them individually. So you can see here, each frequency has attack and release. You can see where they start. So everything above 1.66 kilohertz is getting this. Everything below 322 hertz is getting this. And everything in the middle is getting this. I feed this multi-band compressor into an audio effect rack. And the rack has low lows, mids, upper mids, and high highs. So the lows get sent through a saturator. They get made mono. They get sent through this EQ to make sure that this is the only band that's getting processed. Oh, I think we can make that transition a little better. That's actually not that bad, but we'll smooth that out just a little bit there. So we'll drag this actually and then send it back. Damn, this is tight. This is going on a DJ Prom Night record in the future. This is good. Let's see how our bridge sounds. Sounds great. See that little crossfade there? See what that did? So it's just taking... It's just a nice blend there. So we'll do this a couple times. Some cool backmasking in there too that I like. So quick, we need another passage here. So we could loop that little part, or we could throw this in here, see what that sounds like. Oh, there's the solo. Okay, so at this point I start analyzing the scraps and seeing what I absolutely do and don't need. Oh, that's a great question, Alex. The crossfade, you go into the track, you click on the clip, and then you hit A. Oops. If you're not a... Okay, so they're already selected. But yeah, you hit A to see the crossfades. Lasagna slush. That being said, I had to learn most of what I learned about electronic music on my own. Yeah, I agree, JPEG Strikes. I went to Columbia, and I have a degree in audio design and production. But I learned in like a studio environment. And I did an internship with electrical audio, Steve Albini's studio. Steve Albini he recorded a little album by Nirvana called In Utero, and he did the Pixies Surfer Rosa. So I learned my like recording techniques from Columbia College and from the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Albini. And I can tell you that none of that helped me with electronic music. So I taught myself Ableton. Also, like here's something that you can do is you get Ableton and then you click Help View, and then boom, right here it like shows you how to use the program. This is literally how I taught myself how to do Ableton. So you know there's a tutorial within the program. It's awesome. Listen, I have to set the record straight about Steve Albini. You've heard he's not a good guy, but he's like the best guy ever. He's just a chill dude. And anybody who hates on him has their own problems, because he's like the nicest guy ever. He like let me sit in on recording sessions like long after my internship ended. He's extended the invitation to basically whenever I want, like go use the equipment in the studio. He's like all for like teaching people and learning, and like he would be in the middle of something and like important that he was getting paid to do, and he would like take time away to like show me what he was doing and like how to load the tape machine and stuff. And like the dude is like the most progressive guy you can imagine. He's super charitable, and has like he just doesn't make a big deal about it, but he like donates to all these like cool, you know, social causes and stuff. And he's just like a all-around stand-up dude. And I don't know why, but like the media likes to portray this image of him as like an old curmudgeon. But he's just like the chillest guy, so I can't imagine why anybody would hate on him. So let's hear what we got here. We got this little pre-verse. I'm kind of into making this little part like the verse. Sounds good to me. So we're gonna take our leftovers and move them to a different track so they don't get in our way. And let's do this after the bridge. And then we'll go straight from that to the solo. That's interesting about Frank Black and them not liking each other. I can't imagine why. Yeah, you're gosh darn right. Gabarian, he is a legend. And yeah, I was lucky enough to intern for him just after I got out of college, so. Hell yeah, alright, this is going better than I expected. I'm liking this a lot. Missed the chance to meet the singer of Slint when he lived here. I got to see Slint a couple of years back. One of my coworkers at Reckless, Matt, was actually touring with them. He's playing guitar or bass, I think, with them, so I got to see them. Oops, we need to mute that. So I pulled a little crossfade here. I don't know if you guys saw it. Right there on the solo. God, that sounds dope. We're gonna go ham with the solo, all right? Let's back it up here a second. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So let's see how the crossfade sounds behind the start. Sounds awesome. Yeah, we're definitely gonna just squeeze every last juice out of the solo. Okay, so did you see what I just did there? I took the beginning of the solo and looped it 3 times, and then I let it go to the end part of the solo, and then I looped that 3 times. So we're going crazy with the loops here. And we're making good time too. We've made some decent progress. Sometimes they're not this easy. It's like I like there's an awesome song, and I know that there's a good DJ Prom Night song within it, but it takes like some of the songs on Soapland took like a day to make, if you can believe that. Like I just had it open and I was just like, all right, what do I loop? And then I ended up, only using certain parts of the song and throwing everything out. And that can happen. Sometimes you get indecision. It's like you go to a restaurant and there's just like I went to this sandwich restaurant once and there was 3 pages of sandwiches on the menu, and it's just like, dear Lord, how am I supposed to pick a sandwich when there's 3 pages of options? Sometimes you get a song that has 3 pages of sandwiches in loops. So this is a little bit easier and a little bit more clear cut. So yeah, let's rock the solo. Let's pull us tiny crossfades. We'll try to see how this sounds a little bit in front of it. I actually like that better. There's like a weird little compression bump that happens on that I like. Alright, we'll just leave that. I can't tell what I'm clipping on. I'm clipping a little bit here, so I think that's just my mixer, actually. Okay, so there's a little bit of vocal on the end of that. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So after an intense solo like that, maybe we want to pull something from the beginning to kind of even it out. So yeah, let's just grab the beginning again. I'm gonna drop my master down a little bit. I like that little piano crescendo there too, so we're gonna loop that too. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Alright. Yes! You got it, Jordan. It's actually 2 cameras, since it won't let me use the same one multiple times. I'll send you a tape. Okay, so see that little vocal there? The beginning's not going to work because I don't have anything to pull from to crossfade it, so we'll use the bridge since there's already a weird little moan there. So we'll kind of make that sound intentional by like bleeding the bridge back into the verse a little bit, so, or into the solo. So let's see how that sounds. That sounds alright to me. And I'm just gonna pull that whole section, and I'm feeling crazy. So we're gonna pull that next section too. So let's just dump that right there. And we'll fix our crossfade. Oops, I did not want to do that. So this is kind of the answer for your question, Alex. What do you do when there's like a little bit of vocal in front of it? I usually will take the next loop and then drag it back to crossfade it. So, yeah. Man, y'all got some celebrity friends in here, huh? Apples in Stereo, that's a name. Now that's a name I have not heard in quite some time. So that's not the smoothest, but it kind of works, and I'll show you yet another trick to mask that. So we're kind of wrapping up here on the song. What's the length looking like? Usually, so this will be a shorter one, which is fine. You gotta have some of the shorter ones in here. Some songs just beg for 11, 17-minute songs. Some songs you don't need to do that. I just wanted to hear this verse again because I like this a lot. And you know what? I like to use the endings of the songs. Some people don't. So actually, let's just drag this out and see where this goes, because this was kind of towards the end of the song anyway. Oh yeah, we gotta include that weird little off-key flute thing in there. Okay, that's a wrap, folks. That's a wrap. Ah, yes, that tail. That tail. Clemens83 needs another look at the chain. Okay. We will never break the chain. Okay. I can still hear him say. Okay. So, the chain. We got a multi-band compressor. The multi-band compressor is boosting these frequencies quite a bit. So I'm kind of forcefully shoving the mids and the highs more than the bass. Why do I do this? Because the bass is going to get its own, I don't know, like you can do without this. Let's see how this sounds without it. I think it's nice to go into some of the chains like loud, you know, from the get-go. So let's hear it without the multi-band compressor. It's just kind of missing energy. It's there, but it's kind of flat. So when I add that, it just adds that extra crispiness in the mids and the highs. And it kind of keeps the bass locked into place where I want it. So this kind of puts the levels where I want it to go into my main chain. Oh, I ran out of disk space for my recording. I was recording this. So okay, the lows. This is kind of funny and silly that I have these like gain settings here to begin with, and this is just because I've started clipping with other things, so I've had to lower my input gain so that the unity gain is kind of like at or around 0. But yeah. Let's get this straight. The lows, they go through a saturator, specifically with the sinoid fold. I feel like this sounds really good on bass, and I have the bass, which affects which frequencies it goes to down to this minus 36, and the frequency is at 66.6. So this just makes it, this basically adds some crisp to the bass. It's also mono, and then this EQ, you can put this before. Let's see how it sounds before. It doesn't make that big of a difference. But I kind of just play around with the order of these to see what ends up sounding the best. So after the EQ, it goes into my favorite compressor, the CLA2A. This is a Waves clone of the famous LA2A compressor, which is probably the best, or one of the best compressors ever made. I have used a real one. The plugin sounds pretty good to me. I don't even remember. I couldn't tell. I don't remember what compressors sound like. But it sounds good. Thanks for joining, Neil Tendo. Take care. So then I have this fast limiter at the end of that. So that's it for the bass. I keep that pretty dry. I'd say the most important part of the bass is that you make it mono and you saturate it. So the mids, you can see here, I'm starting at 115 hertz and I'm ending at 1.41 kilohertz. This is going into a this envelope down auto filter thing. I honestly can't really hear it working. It's doing a little bit of waviness on the mids. This one's fun. I just started using this one recently, the crystallizer. This is like a, it's an interesting delay. You can add all kinds of stuff to it. You can pitch it down, you can add effects to it. It sounds like crystals. I don't know how else to describe it. I've got this chorus ping pong delay setting, but you can get real wild with it. So check this crystal builder thing. Actually, I should find out where my chorus ping pong is because I want to get it back. I think that's just in affected. What category am I in here? Anyway, this is not important. I could turn this off. It's just adding a little extra flavor. Here it is without it. Did you hear that little like drop up in the upper mids? I'll turn it back on. Then it's getting monoed, which is kind of funny because this is a very like a stereo plugin. But I like to mono the mid-range so that I can feed it to a filter delay. So basically take the mid-range and then shove it in the middle and then use a ping pong delay so that it adds like extra weird space into it. And the filter delay is cool too because you can specify what filter range. Obviously we don't want any of the low end to be delayed. So I have these hard panned 50 right, 50 left with a little bit of volume. You can adjust the dry wet to your liking to make it more spacey. So pull this back and then you just kind of hear the delays. So like the really early DJ Prom Night stuff, I kept this mostly like kind of in the middle, but now I'm kind of liking the dry sound more. So I've been kind of just messing with the chain. So this is going through a frequency shifter with the phasing preset. Dry is at 54%. So just so you can hear what this sounds like, I'll crank the wet. Makes it a little bit slushier actually. Maybe we'll leave that cranked, I kind of like that. I had a saturator on here, I was just playing with it. I turned it off. You don't need that. Another fast limiter on there. So that's it for the mids. If you're still awake, then the upper mids is 864 hertz to 3.74 kilohertz. This one it's using the mono, but it's going full stereo, so this is like actually artificially widening the upper mids. So I think I described this in the last stream. I kind of like the track to look like a goblet. So like the bass is like thick, but it's in the center, and then the mids are like super thin, but then it's got this kind of wide ping-ponging off of it, and then the top, it kind of gets pulled out a little bit. So yeah, I've got artificial widening on that. And then this is another phaser. And this is just kind of like, it's doing some really soft phasing, and then it's getting sent to a very short, almost a slapback delay. And then another fast limiter. So then the highs. This is like pretty minimal too. There's phasing, of course, phasing flange. The phasing, by the way, this is not a phaser, but it's a frequency shifter, and I think this sounds better than the phaser. Take care, JPEG Strikes. Nice Nice chatting with you as always. And then this is the Ableton's flanger, phasing flange. This is also kind of slow, and it's like concentrating on the higher frequencies. Dry wet 100%, another fast limiter. So that's it. That's it. What makes it sound the best, you may ask? Oh yeah, first of all, I should explain this. The spectrum, this just kind of helps you see the bigger picture. Like, you don't want the bass to be just absolutely too slamming, but you don't want it like too quiet either. So, is phasing flange a plugin or only on Ableton? All of these are built-in Ableton plugins except for that CLA2A I showed you and these two plugins at the end. So all these are built in. What is phasing flange under? Oh, okay, so phasing flange is actually under Corpus. Corpus is a resonator. So, I'm sorry, this is not a flanger. This is a resonator. What's cool about this is it's basically, it mimics real-world materials. So this is like, I've got this on pipe, and you can change this to like beam, marimba, string, membrane, plate. So this is basically like, if you were trying to make a realistic sounding snare drum, you would use Corpus. And you would use the membrane, and that would just basically give it like that surface kind of slap sound. So right now I've got this on pipe, so it's supposed to sound like it's coming through a pipe, which I thought would be appropriate for Slush. So like, just so you can kind of hear that independently, here's just the high highs. And if I change this to like, you know, membrane, marimba, maybe that one's really tinny, tube. I don't know, pipe sounds good to me. So yeah, all of this is then running through Aberrant DSP's Sketch Cassette 2, which is the best tape emulation of all time, in my opinion. I've used a lot of these plugins, and this one sounds the most like real tape to me. And we're actually going in a little high here, so I'm going to pull these back so it's not quite so red. Let's leave this at 3.1. Because we can always bump it up in the master later, right? So we want this to be kind of, tame. So the coolest thing about Sketch Cassette to me is the fact that you can set the dropouts here. I think that's like the coolest thing. So, if you pull this out here, you can get all the automation options for Sketch Cassette. So what I like to do here is after you, oh, what's up, Pete? I use Sketch Cassette all over my new album. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, everyone should write Aberrant DSP a check for $1 million for getting the best tape sound out of a plugin. So here's where you have some fun, is you start automating the dropout intensity. So you left click that knob. Once again, let me just show you. Any third-party plugin, if you want to automate parameters, you can usually, if you have a MIDI controller, you can usually hit MIDI and then click on it, and then you can turn your MIDI controller, you know, and then it'll map that parameter to whatever knob you turned. Or, you know, like right now I'm not working with the MIDI controller, so I'm just going to pull this out here and left click dropout intensity and hit show automation. So what I like to do, especially for this like heavily looping stuff, to give it some kind of to make the texture interesting over multiple loops, I like to spike the dropout intensity at certain parts. Here that gets all nasty and chewed up. Yeah, serious Vaporwave legends in the chat. This is awesome. Thank you all for being here. So yeah, just to make the tape texture a little less static, we can start kind of drawing on it. You can definitely overdo this, so you don't have to like go psycho with it, you know, but we're just gonna make some nice little paths here. Okay, so that transition, we can kind of mask that behind a big dropout, so let's just bump that up there and see what it sounds like. It's not the worst transition, but I think that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Pudina Palooza. I gotta like get my gear out and teach myself a new set in like 2 weeks. God, there's never enough time. There is never enough time in the world. I got the gear out of the closet, so that was step one. I broke like 5 things in the process, like 3 knobs snapped off of my MIDI controller when I just got the gear out of the closet. What I'll be doing a DJ Prom night set. I asked George if I could do that instead, actually, and he was like, well, it's like, it doesn't look as good on the flyer as Equip does, and I was like, okay. So yeah, we're just gonna go psycho with this dropout at the end. And we can even change we can make the width go all crazy too. Let's automate that a little bit. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now we have something kind of sonically interesting. Let's doodle this a little bit. Let's sketch. So let's hear what we got. Yeah, it's gonna be fun camping out in George's living room. I didn't realize y'all were staying with him too. I always crash on his couch when I'm in LA, but that'll be really fun to have you there, Pete, and of course Max, Chillwave Kittens. So that'll be really fun. We'll have to like build a blanket fort in the living room and raid his fridge again. I'll make some new fucked up sandwich that everybody on the internet will give me shit for. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I feel bad I lost the prototype 311 vape pen on Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland. I was like, George, can I borrow this for the day? Because we're going to Disneyland. And it was like, hadn't even been released yet. It was like 311's new weed vape pen. And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was hitting it during Toad's Wild Ride, and we just hit this big bump, and it flew out of my hand. I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry I lost the prototype weed pen. I told him at Econ too. I was like, ran up to him, I was like, George, I'm so sorry. I dropped the prototype 311 weed pen. I didn't even realize it. But like Nick Hexum was on the stage, like he had his back facing me and he was like tuning his guitar or something. He just kind of turned around and looked at me, just looked away. It's like, oh man, I messed up. So yeah, some lucky Disneyland employee got the prototype 311 vape pen. So yeah, we're making the dropouts crazy here. We're going wild. I did this a lot with Soapland. I got really into automating, so. Okay, so this is pretty much more or less done. What we're gonna do too here is I've got this nice Luxicon hall delay that I like a lot. And then this is also going into a frequency frequency shifter. So we're gonna do a little reverb ride out at the end. So let's automate this reverb send and just crank it up at the end. And then another thing we're gonna do too is I'm gonna engage this EQ. So we're gonna do a nice little fade in. So here we go. We gotta click this and then go to show automation and crank this up. Oops, I don't know why that's the Hall delay actually. It's not the automation. So we're not gonna do that. Alright, for the sake of time, maybe we won't. Oh, of course it's down here, that's why I'm struggling here. So we'll do a little slow fade since we got a couple loops here. You know what, actually, I like that intro how it is. I don't want to fade that in. Sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's not. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not appropriate. What we are going to do is kind of fade it out a little bit. But we're going to do it the other way, where we pull the lows up as we fade out. So we're going to keep the lows more or less tame until it gets to the end when it starts dropping out like crazy. So this will give it a little bit more flavor. So let's see how the end sounds. So we're not going to fade it until like the very end. I like that. I like that. I think it's done. I'm going to call it done. So we're right at, what are we at right here? 908. I'll just go ahead and bounce this and export. Oh god, there's not enough. 226 megabytes are required, but only 35 megabytes are available on disk. Man, you know why? It's because I set my OBS to record to my NVMe for some dumb reason, and I don't know why Ableton like doesn't let you render out to another disk that's not your C drive. I swear that was an option in preferences, but like I can't find it. So whatever. I am gonna save this, but I'm gonna clear some stuff up off camera. Yeah, I'm working with 35 megabytes here of free space. Ridiculous. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it's funny y'all are talking about collecting. I am like, I kind of just want to sell almost my entire collection. Basically what I want to keep are like the sentimental stuff, like my friends' stuff. Like I just want to keep my friends' records and tapes. But like, yeah, exactly. Who needs every King Crimson record? Like, I've just absorbed all of that stuff, you know? Like I don't need to own like Pink Floyd vinyl anymore. I don't need to own any of that stuff. You know, like when am I gonna listen to Dark Side of the Moon on vinyl? You know, like maybe once every like 17 years, I need to listen to that album on vinyl. So I think, I don't know. Man, I would just love to have some local collectors just come over with cash, and then I'd just start wheeling and dealing, making bargains. But yeah, that's it. That's it. Thanks for joining me here today. Thanks for listening to the new DJ Prom night. Look at that. That's funny. Looking at myself on Twitch here. So yeah, keep red and animals for sure. I totally agree with you 100%. I would keep discipline as well. So once more, you can subscribe to me here on Bandcamp for $5 a month, and you get all the digital releases. If you want a tape of every release, it's $15 a month, and that includes shipping. If you want to just buy the tapes a la carte, I sell them for $15. So you kind of miss out on the free shipping aspect there because it's $3 to ship. But I understand that not everybody wants every single thing I've put out. But yeah, I got the extra tapes for sale here. Got that Bullet Heaven, Pink Fever Eclipse, Transmix. Got that new Gaia, that classic style Vaporwave. And we got that DJ Prom Night plays the holiday party. And there's still a couple of these left. I think the DJ Prom Night there's down to 3. I only made 50 of those. The other ones I've got about 40 or 50 left because I made 100. So those are probably going to stick around for a little bit longer. But yeah, those are for sale for Eclipse Picks subscribers. So yeah. Oh, the Perfect Kiss. So yeah, that one. Basically, we just put in an order to do that on 100% Electronica. We're going to get cassettes of The Perfect Kiss. So don't you worry. That will be a wide release. Basically, all of these releases, they're going to be exclusive for 1 year to Eclipse Picks. And, of course, the coolest thing about Eclipse Picks is that I write your name in this little corner, and I write the date that I sent you the tape. So they'll always be special. Like the ones that I'm going to do on 100% Electronica, like the reissues of the early Eclipse Pick stuff, is just kind of to spread the word and get the brand out there. But those aren't going to be signed or personalized or anything. So those will always be, special. So I'm hoping to just kind of continue this like I would, I'm running a tape label where I'm just doing everything, doing every single project and moniker and designing everything and shipping them all out. So, that's it for tonight. Thanks for sticking around. Love y'all. Have a happy, safe weekend. Stay hydrated. Please recycle. Please get vaccinated. Love y'all. Have a nice weekend. Peace.